Hey everybody, I've made it up in the mountains. We've got the monkey in Sasquatch mode, and I have hooked up with my good buddy Jobu. Jobu is a new friend of mine. He's going to be joining us on all the videos. I ran into him panhandling. I saw him on a street corner. Thought I could offer him a job. His wages seemed pretty good. And Jobu is a bit of a character. He's a paranormal black belt. Hails from Haiti. Don't speak much English. Say hi to everybody, Jobu. Now, he is a bit of a loner and a rebel. He thumbs his nose at authority. He's pretty badass. So when it comes to Bigfoot hunting, he should be a real asset. We're deep in the Appalachian Mountains. Even the show Finding Bigfoot has come out here because they recognize this as a Sasquatch hotspot. And I've got Jobu with me, and he's got an idea. Because regular Sasquatch hunters, they just fail. They don't work at all. Just because Bigfooting doesn't work. If you notice, all the Bigfoot encounters and things you hear about are always people out minding their own business. They're never hunting for Bigfoot. So then the people show up and want to go hunting for Bigfoot, and they never find anything. So Jobu's got some ideas. So like I said, he's an 8th degree black belt in Sasquology or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Because what we're dealing with here is actually the world champion of hide and seek. Sasquatch is excellent hide and seek player. So what we're going to do is Jobu wants to learn how to ride the bikes. He's never ridden a motorcycle before. So I'm going to show him how to ride the bike real quick. And then he's going to go down the road and try to drive him towards me. And I'm going to set up a snare trap, and we'll see if we can catch one in the snare. That's our plan. All right, now pay attention. You got brake, clutch, shifter down here. Now I want you to take off, go that way really fast. If anything gets in your way, turn. All right, go for it. Turn! Turn! Oh, he's gonna drive me to start drinking. Turn! Bring it in, bring it in. Right here, right here, right here. Hold up, hold up. And you ride like a monkey in heat. I've turned the Honda Monkey into a Sasquatch hunting vehicle. I've outfitted it with some throw-over saddlebags instead of the rack. I took the rack off. I didn't like the looks of it, and it kind of threw the balance of the bike off, where this kind of moves the weight a little more forward of the rear wheel. Gives it a more neutral balance. It's kind of hard getting on and off of it. If you can't tell. But once you're on, you're fine. Once you're on and off your feet, you're fine. It's coming to a stop, like at a stoplight, they're kind of in the way. But once you're moving, they're fine. And these were, I think they were like 200 bucks. I bought them off of Revzilla, I believe. These are Nelson Rig Sierra bags, I believe is what these are called. And believe it or not, these are actually bigger than the panniers I have on the Himalayan. And plus I've got the stock pipe on. So that way I don't burn the bags, and it also makes the bike quieter for hunting Bigfoots. Makes the bike really stealthy, so I can go up and down these roads really quiet, or I can blast a horn or rev the engine and make noise if I want to. Which is what we're gonna do when we start trying to drive Sasquatches through the woods to our trap that we've got set up. Let's go take a look at that. All right, so we've made a snare. And what we've got is Jobu's gonna hide behind the tree. I'm gonna take the monkey down the road, drive the Sasquatches this way, and when they get close enough, Jobu will spring the trap and we'll hopefully catch one. I'm gonna have to camouflage this a little bit here. We don't want them to see it. All right, you ready, Jobu? Let's get it. Woodchuck to gray squirrel, woodchuck to gray squirrel. The chicken is crossing the road. The chicken is crossing the road. Over.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. Oh, the streams are swollen. Keep them doggies rolling, rolling.
Jobu, did you get one? And what the hell are you doing? You're supposed to catch them, not you, dumbass. Well, our snare trap didn't work. We ended up catching a little Jobu instead. But he's got another idea. He says this used to work back when he was in Haiti and they would hunt Sasquatches down there. He said it involves a fishing rod and you got to have some good bait. So we've got our beef jerky here and we'll put that on. And you just say we cast it off into the woods and just wait. All right. Oh yeah, that was a good cast. Take up the slack. We'll just set that right there and we will wait. Well, while we're waiting, I'll go ahead and tell my Bigfoot story because I actually have had an encounter with Bigfoot. This happened 1988 maybe. I was 18, 19 years old, right before I went in the military. And I had gotten a job working as a security guard in another town. So I had to ride about 20 miles from home to this job that I had. And one night while I was riding, because third shift, I'm a security guard at night, I'm riding to work and there's this 90-degree bend in the road at one point. And if you're a motorcyclist, you know that if you take a turn at night, you light up the ditch on the other side of the road, not the ditch next to you on your side of the road, if you're in the United States and you're riding on the correct side of the road. So anyway, I'm going around this right-hand turn, and I mean, it seemed like I could reach out and touch it. There was a large, hairy creature standing right next to the road as I took that turn. And I didn't see it until I was right on it, and it went right by me, and I was like shocked. I was, trying to recompose myself. Holy crap, what was that? And by the time I had straightened up for the next straightaway and was going down the road, I was like, that was a Bigfoot. I just saw a Bigfoot. Because I was a big believer in Sasquatch and Loch Ness Monster and UFOs, all that stuff, because since I was a little kid, I saw all the shows on TV. We went to the movie theater and saw Legend of Boggy Creek. I checked out like every book the library had, because we didn't have the internet back then. So I was getting all the books from everybody that wrote all these Bigfoot books and everything. And I'd go running around the woods, never saw a Bigfoot, wanting to see one. As to this day, if they're real, I want to see one. And so I went around this turn, there he was. I went down the road and I started thinking to myself, I was like, I want to see it again. I want to make sure that that's what it was. I want a good look at this thing. So I was like, well, I'm on a motorcycle. If it tries to get me, I can take off really fast and I can outrun it. I'm pretty sure I go faster than a Sasquatch. So I turned the bike around, and when I got to that corner, I started, kind of weaving a little bit so I could get my headlight pointing, both sides of the road, trying to cover as wide of an area as I could, because I didn't know where he was. I didn't know if he's still in the same spot or if he had moved or if he was even there at all. And so as I creep through around this corner, I finally see him, and he's still there. And it was a bear standing on the side of the road eating some trash, standing up on his back legs. And still, it was freaky. I didn't stop and give the bear 5 or anything. I got the hell out of there. But it wasn't a Sasquatch. And this ended up being kind of one of those epiphany moments where you have I don't want to say a life-altering incident, but it is one of those instances that kind of changed the way I think about things a little bit. Because when I got to work, I told everybody I saw a bear on the side of the road. And once I was alone, because the other shift left, and so I'm there, security guard by myself. So I've got all night to think about this. And I began to think about it. And I was like, what would have happened had I not turned around and went back? If I would have went to work straight on, I would have told everybody I saw a Bigfoot, not that I saw a bear. And I wouldn't have been lying. I wouldn't have been making up the story because it actually happened, but I would have been convinced that it was a Bigfoot when it really wasn't. So I wasn't lying. I was genuinely mistaken is the way I put that. So when we see all the stories and interviews by people who report Bigfoot sightings, I keep that in mind, as just a point of reference, because I don't believe everybody out there is lying. Because when you tell people, well, that you hear a story and you're like, well, I don't really believe that. And so people want to get hostile about it sometimes and try to belittle you for not believing.
It's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth. you don't even want to see the truth.
And like I said, I don't believe they're actually lying. I believe some of them are. They know they're lying. Not all of them. I believe quite a few of them, if not most of them, are genuinely mistaken. You know, like I would have been had I not gone back and investigated what I had seen.
This thing was 10 foot tall. He had beautiful hair. He looked like he had 6 fingers on each hand.
I want Bigfoot to be real. I want flying saucers to be real. I want the Loch Ness Monster to be real. I want ghosts to be real. I want to see them if they are. But being honest with myself, I haven't seen the evidence to support any of those. So that's why me and Jobu are out here. We're doing our due diligence. We're fishing for Sasquatch. When it gets dark, hopefully we see something. And I don't know why they always do like Bigfoot hunting shows. You ever watch Finding Bigfoot? They ain't got cable down there. Well, anyway, there's a show here called Finding Bigfoot where these people go looking for Bigfoot. And on the show, they do the same thing every show. They go to they hear a story about a Bigfoot incident or something in an area. So they go to the area. And then they meet with people that, you know, either report the incident that they have brought them there, or they go have like a town hall meeting and everybody gets a chance to stand up and say, I saw a 3-legged Bigfoot, you know. And then they go out at night with night vision cameras and things and just run around howling in the woods, and they don't find Bigfoot. So it's the same thing over and over again. And you always wonder why, like all the best footage and things we have of Sasquatch, and most Sasquatch sightings actually take place during the day. Patterson-Gimlin film, all that, broad daylight. But they always go out at night and don't find jack. Why is that? I think it's just because it's spooky. You know, they hear a spooky story, then they go out into the spooky woods, and it's entertaining. Jobu, what do you got? All right, looks like Jobu has found a Sasquatch footprint, or at least that's what he says it is. How do you know what a Sasquatch footprint looks like? You ever seen a Sasquatch foot? Got a Uncle Voodoo cocktail going on here. Cognac and Mountain Dew. I call it Voodoo. Now, all them other Sasquatch shows you see on TV, they're all doing it wrong. A good cigar and a stiff drink, good friend, hanging out in the woods, this is what it's all about. The Sasquatching is actually about telling scary stories and running around the woods spooking yourself at night. Because you never find Bigfoot. Nobody's ever found him. It's also very windy up here. I'm right next to the top of the mountain. The peak is just right off in front of me over there. But the wind, you guys can see the trees swaying back there. The wind is causing the trees to sway, and they're so dense that they're rubbing on each other, creating a squeaking sound that sounds like somebody whistling at me. But you hear reports of like Bigfoot's whistling, Sasquatch is whistling. That sounds just like a whistle, but it's not. It's the wind blowing and trees are rubbing on each other, creating squeaking sounds that can sound like a whistle. Well, all right, the sun is going down fast and it is getting dark. And Jobu's getting a little bit scared. He did break out his 45 Super. He brought some firepower, but I don't think he understands the seriousness of this situation. What I've brought makes that look like child's play. This is the most devastating paranormal weapon known to man. Ooh. This is the lucky chicken bone. Now that it has been deployed, we are totally safe. All right, so me and Jobu have taken up kind of an overwatch position behind this berm. And we've got our Sasquatch bait down in a little clearing, and we're trying to keep an eye on it. Try to be as quiet as we can. All right, you wait here. I'm gonna go get the bike and I'm gonna make some passes up and down the road, see if I can stir anything up. I'll be right back. All right, I have circled way around and I've moved down from Jobu, who's still up in our overwatch position. And I'm gonna start walking up the road here and make some noise and see if I can flush anything in his direction. Don't know if it's gonna work or not. You'd think that Jack Link's beef jerky would really bring him in. Maybe I should do one of those Bigfoot calls. I mean, what the hell are people doing running around in the woods hollering in the middle of the night? Like, how does somebody become an expert Bigfoot caller? Has anybody ever called one and had one come in? I don't think so. I don't see it. I don't know. Well, the lucky chicken bone seems to have done its job, kept everything calm. Might have chased off all the Sasquatches, just the power of this thing being out. And you know, when I pull out the lucky chicken bone, shit just got real. Well, as you can see, the sun is starting to come up behind me. Temperature has dropped quite a bit and the wind died down in the middle of the night and it got really quiet, so we could hear really well. Birds are just now starting to come up. Jobu's been drinking all night. He's about out of it. We didn't see any Sasquatches, didn't hear any Sasquatches, didn't see any UFOs. So we are gonna wrap this up and pack Jobu away, and we are gonna hit the bricks, go get some breakfast. I'm getting hungry. See you guys next time. Take care. Hey Jobu, you think if there really was a Bigfoot out here, he'd be watching us, just thinking we were a couple of dumb shits? This could be just some guy running around naked in the woods. Dude, I said no, and I mean it. You ain't riding a damn bike. Don't give me them Sarah McLachlan eyes. You still ain't riding the bike. You're walking.
Up you